Because when you do, you don't just change your life, you change everything. You are now standing at a threshold, the boundary between the ordinary and the extraordinary. The space where most hesitate, caught between the comfort of what is known and the vast unknown of what could be. But you are not most. The formula is simple yet profound: detached to emerge. Detached to conquer. Imagine the greatest artists, innovators, leaders, not shackled by the fleeting opinions of the crowd, but liberated by a vision so clear it transcended every doubt. Edison didn't fail 1,000 times. He detached from the meaning of failure itself. Each attempt was a step closer, a lesson embraced without the sting of defeat. Carnegie didn't chase riches for vanity, he detached from the superficial and anchored himself to a purpose larger than money itself. Disney didn't build an empire by pleasing everyone, he detached from the noise and focused on creating magic that spoke to the heart. The lesson is not in what they did, but in how they did it. They mastered detachment not as escape, but as empowerment, and you can too. Detach from the distractions that fracture your attention, the endless scroll, the empty chatter, the comparisons that erode your confidence. Detach from the fear that binds you, fear of failure, rejection, insignificance. Detach from the need for immediate gratification that numbs your ambition. When you let go of these chains, you discover your true power, the power to choose your response, to control your focus, to build your destiny. Because here's the undeniable truth: wealth, success, fulfillment, they are byproducts of relentless focus and unwavering belief, not of luck, not of talent alone, but of the discipline to say no to the trivial and yes to the essential. The world's greatest achievers didn't hustle harder, they focused smarter. They learned to align every thought, every action, every breath toward a singular goal, and you must do the same. Your mind is a garden. Every thought is seed. Detach from the weeds of doubt, envy, and distraction. Water the seeds of clarity, purpose, and conviction. Tend to them daily, and watch your life bloom in ways you once thought impossible, because success is a formula, a sequence of intentional steps taken with precision and heart. It begins with mindset, the fortress of your inner world. Belief, the spark that ignites possibility. Clarity, the lens that sharpens vision. Purpose is the compass that guides through storms. Discipline, the bridge between dreams and reality. Action, the engine that propels forward. Gratitude, the anchor that keeps you grounded. Adaptability, the sail that catches shifting winds. Resilience, the armor that withstands the fiercest battles. Learning, the fuel that powers endless growth. Every piece, perfectly interlocked, no shortcuts, no luck. Just the unbreakable will to master yourself and your craft. So when life demands you bend, you stand. When fear whispers lies, you speak truth. When the easy road tempts you to stray, you hold fast, because your destiny isn't handed to you. It's forged in the crucible of detachment and relentless focus. You were never meant to settle, you were born to rise, and rise you will. Stand tall in your power, detach from everything that controls you, and embrace the unstoppable force within. This is your moment, seize it. Own it. Love it, because the formula is yours to learn, the formula is yours to live, and through it, you will become more than average, you will become abundance itself. This is the path, and it starts now. You have now glimpsed the edge of your own potential, but the journey does not end at realization, it begins there. The path from detachment to mastery is not a leap but a deliberate walk, one steady step at a time. It is forged by a sacred covenant with yourself, to honor your focus, to shield your mind, to guard your purpose as fiercely as a lion protects its pride. Remember the story of Abraham Lincoln, a man who faced failure after failure, setback after setback, yet never once surrendered to despair. He detached from the voices that said you can't, and attached himself instead to the conviction that you must. In his darkest hours, when the nation was fractured and hope was scarce, his unwavering focus on the vision of unity propelled him forward. He didn't flinch. He didn't falter. He stood firm because he detached from the distractions and the doubts. Your life demands the same unyielding resolve. Detach from the distraction of instant results. The seed does not become the mighty oak overnight. It takes time, nurturing, and relentless patience. Wealth is not a sudden windfall, it is a harvest cultivated through consistent effort and unwavering focus. Let the rush for quick gains fade into the background. Instead, fix your eyes on the long game, the slow, steady rise that outlasts every fad and fortune. This is where clarity becomes your sword and shield. When the world clamors with choices, opinions, and noise, clarity is the beacon that cuts through the fog. Without it, your focus scatters like leaves in the wind, lost and aimless. With it, your purpose sharpens, your actions align, and your steps carry the weight of destiny. Think of Henry Ford, who revolutionized industry not merely by invention but by clarity of vision to bring affordable cars to the masses, to reshape the very fabric of society. His focus was not distracted by the naysayers or the complexity of the challenge. It was clear, unshakable, and relentless. This is the power of clarity married to purpose. You must cultivate that clarity within your own mind. Define what you want with ruthless specificity. Be bold in your vision, precise in your goals. This clarity will transform uncertainty into a roadmap, confusion into direction, and hesitation into decisive action. Purpose then breathes life into your focus. It is the pulse behind every effort, the fire that fuels every dawn. When your purpose is clear, discipline no longer feels like a burden but a privilege, the sacred act of honoring the vision you hold for your life. It is the difference between wandering aimlessly and charging forward with unshakable determination. Discipline is the bridge between thought and reality. It is what makes dreams tangible, what turns potential into power. Look at Thomas Edison, whose famous 1,000 attempts at the light bulb were acts of discipline, each failure a deliberate step closer, a refusal to be deterred. He detached from the pain of defeat, focused on the solution, and brought light to the world. Your action must mirror this discipline. Not random bursts of effort, but a steady, disciplined march toward your goals. Each day, each hour, each minute is a chance to build, to improve, to refine. The greatest fortunes are not the spoils of luck but the rewards of relentless, focused labor. Gratitude then anchors this journey. It keeps you humble, grounded, and connected to the deeper meaning behind your pursuit. Gratitude transforms obstacles into opportunities, failures into lessons, and hardships into growth. It reminds you that success is not just about accumulation, but about appreciation for every step, every breath, every lesson. As you detach from the control of outside influences, cultivate gratitude within. Let it be the soil in which your ambitions grow strong and tall. Adaptability, too, is your ally. The world is a shifting landscape. Rigidity is the enemy of progress. The great leaders, from Lincoln to Ford to Disney, all mastered the art of bending without breaking. They adapted their strategies, evolved their visions, and remained flexible without losing focus. Resilience is the armor that guards your spirit when storms rage. It is the silent force that whispers, "This too shall pass," when the weight of adversity threatens to crush you. It is the steady heartbeat that keeps you moving when everything inside screams to quit. Learning fuels this entire process. Every success, every failure, every experience is a lesson etched into the fabric of your becoming. Commit yourself to lifelong growth, for stagnation is the death of potential. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your destiny. Detach from what confines you. Embrace the power within, and live the formula of success with fierce intentionality. This is your moment to rise. To transcend average. To become the living embodiment of abundance, purpose, and relentless focus, and in that ascent, you will find not just wealth, but freedom, not just success, but fulfillment, not just a life lived, but a life mastered. The mastery of your life, like the mastery of any craft, requires not only vision and discipline but an unwavering commitment to the formula that success demands. It is a sacred science, a deliberate art woven from the threads of mindset, belief, clarity, vision, purpose, discipline, action, gratitude, adaptability, resilience, and learning. This is no casual suggestion. This is the call to arms for those who refuse to settle for mediocrity, for those who know that greatness is forged in the crucible of relentless focus. Look back through history at the names that echo through time, not because they were lucky, but because they lived this formula. Andrew Carnegie, who rose from a poor immigrant boy to one of the richest men in history, was not just a man of money but a man of relentless purpose. He believed in the power of definite plans and indefatigable effort. He detached himself from the distractions of his time and focused on the vision of steel that built a nation. Walt Disney, a dreamer who faced countless rejections and failures, did not abandon his dream because of setbacks. Instead, he adapted, learned, and persisted. His resilience was fueled by a deep gratitude for every small victory and a clear vision of a world where imagination was the currency of success. Every titan of industry, every revolutionary thinker, every creator who changed the course of history understood this truth: success is a formula. And it is not secret or elusive, it is learned and lived. The formula demands that you step beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond the noise of the world that seeks to pull you away from your purpose. You must detach from everything that controls you, the opinions that weigh heavy on your mind, the failures that threaten to define you, the distractions that steal your time and energy. Only then can you hold your focus like a laser, burning through obstacles, illuminating the path to your greatest potential. The path will test you. It will challenge your resolve, shake your confidence, and push you to the brink. But remember the stories of those who walked before you: Edison in his dark lab, Lincoln in his divided nation, Ford in his relentless innovation. Their stories are blueprints, roadmaps etched in history, whispering the truth: persistence and focus is the gateway to greatness. So claim your power today. Learn the formula, live it with conviction. Detach from the chains that bind your spirit. Embrace the discipline that hones your mind. Ignite the vision that fuels your purpose. Take action with relentless determination. Express gratitude in every step. Adapt with wisdom. Build resilience through every storm. And commit yourself to a lifetime of learning. This is not just a journey, it is your destiny. Rise now, and walk it with fire in your heart and clarity in your soul. And do not be mistaken, the world will not hand you your destiny. It will test you. It will try to seduce you with comfort, distract you with noise, burden you with doubt. But this is not the path of those who lead, who build, who create legacies. This is the battlefield. And your greatest weapon is focus, not scattered energy, not divided attention, but the razor-sharp presence of a mind anchored in purpose. Detach from the lie that you need approval. Detach from the illusion that more scrolling, more consumption, more waiting will deliver you to your dreams. Greatness is not inherited. It is not given. It is earned, minute by minute, decision by decision, breath by breath. You will never meet a fulfilled soul who got there by chance. They all made the same choice: to become the master of their inner world, mindset first, the fertile soil from which everything grows. You must protect it like a sacred garden. Let no weed of negativity take root. Let no storm of fear drown the seeds of your vision. Feed your mind with clarity, not confusion. With conviction, not comfort. With intention, not impulse, and then belief, unshakable belief, the kind that anchors you when nothing seems to be working. Belief is not just thinking positively. It's building an inner fortress that even failure cannot collapse. It's looking at your circumstances and declaring, "This is not where I end. This is where I begin." Clarity is your compass. Without it, you will drift. With it, you will cut through life like a blade through fog. Know what you want specifically, vividly, unapologetically. Vague desires bring vague results. Specificity is power. A clearly defined purpose becomes a gravitational force pulling you forward. Vision is your fuel. And purpose, your fire. They are not optional. They are essential. Without purpose, discipline dies. Without vision, action is hollow. The most powerful people in the world don't just work hard, they work towards something monumental. They are driven by something deeper than likes, deeper than validation, deeper than money. Discipline, the rarest virtue in a distracted world. Discipline is doing it anyway. Discipline is showing up after failure, after heartbreak, after exhaustion. It is the quiet power behind every extraordinary life. It is the inner voice that says, "I will not give in. I will not give up. I will rise again." And action, always action. Not planning forever. Not waiting for perfection. Not talking about it endlessly. Action creates momentum. Action reveals truth. Action separates the dreamers from the doers. While others hesitate, you move. While others doubt, you execute, and in the midst of the grind, gratitude. Not just for the victories, but for the struggle. For the lessons disguised as failure. For the small wins, the hard days, the silent progress. Gratitude transforms pressure into privilege. It reminds you, you get to do this. You get to fight for your dream, adaptability, your ability to bend without breaking. To shift, to evolve, to respond without surrendering your mission. The road will never look exactly as planned. But the mission? That stays. Resilience, the beating heart of every warrior. Life will hit you. That is a promise. But will you get back up? Will you rise smarter, sharper, stronger? That is the question. And that is what separates legends from the forgotten, and finally, learning. The hunger to grow, always. The humility to be a student, forever. Those who stop learning begin dying. Those who remain teachable become unstoppable. This is the formula. Not one part. All of it. Together. Lived, breathed, embodied, this is the path from average to extraordinary. From noise to clarity. From drifting to domination, this is how you detach from everything that controls you and become the one who shapes your future. Now go. Become that force. Become that fire. Live it. Relentlessly. And remember, the world bows not to the noise, but to the signal. To the one who cuts through distraction with precision. To the one who walks with intention when others wander in indecision. To the one who stops chasing approval and starts building mastery. You weren't born to be owned by habits that don't serve you. You weren't designed to live at the mercy of emotions you don't understand. You weren't meant to hand over your destiny to convenience, entertainment, or the opinions of people who've never walked in your shoes. You were born with the capacity to command your own mind, and when you do, the world begins to reflect the clarity of that command. You must become brutally honest with yourself. Not harsh, but honest. Ask, what controls me? What drains me? What distracts me from becoming who I said I would be? And then strip it away. Not slowly. Not eventually. Ruthlessly. Because if you don't control your environment will control you. And here's the truth no one wants to say out loud: the life you want is not found in some far-off moment. It's hiding inside the actions you're avoiding. It's buried under the comfort you refuse to give up. It's locked behind the doors you're afraid to open, doors labeled sacrifice, discipline, ownership. The formula is not complicated. It's just not easy. It's found in the discipline of early mornings, the silence of late nights. The courage to say no to the party, the scroll, the binge, and yes to the vision no one else sees but you. This is what separation looks like. Not louder. Just clearer. Not more talent. Just more consistency. Not more opportunity. Just more responsibility for what you do with what you already have. And when you detach from all the surface noise, when you finally stop dancing for the world's approval, when you let go of every excuse dressed up as a reason, you'll hear something different. A whisper, maybe at first. Then louder, it's your potential calling you home. It doesn't want you to be like them. It wants you to become you, undiluted, unafraid, unleashed. There is power in your breath, but only if you use it with purpose. There is greatness in your spine, but only if you stand up and live like you mean it. Detach from fear. It is not your friend. It will steal years from your life while convincing you it's keeping you safe. Detach from comparison. Your life is not a copy. It is a masterpiece in progress. Let no algorithm, no follower count, no external status define your value. Detach from the myth that you're running out of time. You're not. You're running out of permission. Stop waiting for it. You're not too late. You're just now deciding to stop being a slave to everything that dims your fire. Now is when you shift. When you dig in. When you choose yourself fully, without apology. This world needs fewer followers and more builders, fewer reactors and more creators, fewer victims and more architects of destiny. So build. Build with blood in your mouth and stars in your eyes. Build with a mind forged in focus and a heart anchored in purpose. Build the life that screams, I was here and I mattered. Not because they said so, but because you decided so. You're not waiting anymore, you're rising, you're detaching, and you're finally free. Let's go. You see, freedom isn't found in escape, it's found in alignment. Not in running away from pain, but running toward your purpose with such clarity that nothing can cling to you that doesn't belong. Detach from the fear of failure. Because failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the trailhead. Every giant you admire, every name etched into the stone of history, wore failure like armor. Edison failed 10,000 times, and each one was a brick in the cathedral of light. Ford went bankrupt before building an empire. Disney was fired for lacking imagination. The difference? They detached from defeat. They didn't let it name them. You must do the same. Detach from the past. Not to forget it, but to stop living there. You are not the echoes of old mistakes. You are not the shadows of who you were. You are the architect of what comes next. Today is the only day that matters, because today is the only day that's real. Detach from waiting for the right mood, the right moment, the right motivation. They won't come. Discipline is what builds when motivation runs dry. It's what wakes you up when your feelings say stay asleep. It's what moves your feet when the world says stop. Success doesn't wait for your feelings to align. It waits for your commitment to begin. Detach from comfort. It is the most seductive prison there is. Comfort is the silent killer of potential, soft, sweet, and deadly. It whispers lies, you're fine. You've done enough. You deserve to relax. But deep down, you know, you weren't made for fine. You were made for fire. Comfort never changed the world. Conviction did. Hunger did. Relentless forward motion did. Detach from needing to explain yourself to those who don't get it. Your vision is sacred. It wasn't handed to them, it was handed to you. So guard it. Don't dilute it to make others feel comfortable. Don't dim it so you'll fit in. Let it burn. Let it blaze. Let it pull you toward the life only you can build. Detach from instant gratification. Every shortcut you take robs you of the strength you were supposed to build along the way. Growth doesn't come in convenience. It comes in consistency. The muscle isn't built in one lift, the book isn't written in one page, the empire isn't built in one night, but it is built. One moment at a time. Detach from shame. From guilt. From every lie that says you're not worthy of starting over. You're allowed to evolve. To shed your skin. To burn the version of you that's settled and sculpt the one that builds. You're allowed to leave the old story, because you're not a story, you're a force, and when you stop letting everything else write your narrative, your past, your pain, your people, your patterns, then you finally pick up the pen, then you begin to write not just a better chapter, but a completely new book. This isn't about motivation anymore. This is about remembering who the hell you are. This is about returning to the truth. You were never meant to blend in, you were never meant to be tamed, you were born to move mountains, not tiptoe around them. So break the chains, burn the distractions, silence the noise, and walk eyes forward, fists clenched, heart open, into your greatness, unapologetically, unshakably, unstoppably. Because once you've detached from everything that controls you, nothing can stop you. Keep going. Keep going, because the world doesn't need another person waiting for permission. It needs one who walks like thunder, who moves with purpose, who lives in alignment with a mission that cannot be outsourced, cannot be replicated, cannot be denied. When you detach from what controls you, you reclaim what's been yours all along, your will, and will is the root of all transformation. It's the silent, internal engine that refuses to die. It's what built pyramids, raised cities from dust, carved empires into stone, and sent men to the moon. It's what allowed Lincoln to endure loss after loss and still rise. What gave Mandela the patience to outlast a prison sentence and still choose unity over revenge? What kept Carnegie building, Ford designing, Jobs dreaming, Hill writing? It's what lies in you dormant or dominant, and it activates when you stop waiting for life to get easier and start becoming someone stronger. Detachment is not apathy. It's mastery. It is the ability to feel everything and still choose the path with discipline, to be tempted by the world and still walk the road of integrity, to stand alone and still move forward, not because the crowd cheers, but because your soul commands it. And when you strip away every layer of noise, influence, fear, vanity, distraction, what's left? You, raw, unfiltered, unchained. That's where the real journey begins. That's where you stop playing the role and start living the mission. That's where your time becomes sacred, your energy becomes focused, and your results become inevitable, detached from the race to impress. You were not put on this earth to perform, you were put here to produce something real. Something lasting. Something powerful enough that it echoes after you're gone. That doesn't happen through surface-level chasing. It happens through relentless becoming. You want wealth? Good. Then stop chasing the glitter and build the gold within, because external wealth follows internal alignment. It's the echo of discipline. The harvest of value creation. The mirror of your self-worth made manifest in the world, but to get there, you'll have to let go of the lies, let go of the comforts, let go of who you were told you had to be. Detachment is how you ascend, and once you ascend, nothing can drag you back into the mud unless you choose to kneel again. So, stand tall, let the fire of purpose melt every chain. Let the silence of stillness drown every voice but your own. Let the precision of your focus slice through the fog until the path is clear. Because it is clear. You've just been looking through the wrong lens. Clean it, fix it, sharpen it, and now move, because there is nothing left to wait for. There is no next version of you to become. The future you're waiting for is hiding in the actions you're avoiding. And the sooner you face them, the faster your life transforms. So step forward, not with hesitation, with fury. With grace. With conviction. With detachment from anything less than everything, because the life you desire, it doesn't respond to passivity, it bends to boldness, it answers the call of those who are no longer ruled by fear, by past, by doubt, by delay, only by vision, only by will. Only by the unshakable decision to rise. This is not a moment to remember. This is the moment you become unforgettable. You want wealth? Good. Then stop chasing the glitter and build the gold within, because external wealth follows internal alignment. It's the echo of discipline. The harvest of value creation. The mirror of your self-worth made manifest in the world, but to get there, you'll have to let go of the lies, let go of the comforts, let go of who you were told you had to be. Detachment is how you ascend, and once you ascend, nothing can drag you back into the mud unless you choose to kneel again. So, stand tall, let the fire of purpose melt every chain. Let the silence of stillness drown every voice but your own. Let the precision of your focus slice through the fog until the path is clear. Because it is clear. You've just been looking through the wrong lens. Clean it, fix it, sharpen it, and now move, because there is nothing left to wait for. There is no next version of you to become. The future you're waiting for is hiding in the actions you're avoiding. And the sooner you face them, the faster your life transforms. So step forward, not with hesitation, with fury. With grace. With conviction. With detachment from anything less than everything, because the life you desire, it doesn't respond to passivity, it bends to boldness, it answers the call of those who are no longer ruled by fear, by past, by doubt, by delay, only by vision, only by will. Only by the unshakable decision to rise. This is not a moment to remember. This is the moment you become unforgettable. And that changes everything, because once you've tasted freedom, real freedom, the kind that doesn't come from wealth but creates it, you will never again settle for survival, you'll never again worship comfort as your god, you'll never again let small minds define your big vision. You were not built to shrink. You were built to expand, to stretch the limits of who you are until they snap under the pressure of potential realized. You were built to create, to build, to serve, to lead, not because someone handed you a title, but because you earned a truth, that you control your own mind, and through it, you control your fate. That's the formula. That's the secret. That's what they don't teach in schools and rarely whisper in boardrooms. Master the mind, and you master the moment. Master the moment, and you master the direction. Master the direction, and you master your destiny. No one will hand it to you, no one will do it for you. But the second you decide to reclaim the reins, everything changes. You want to detach from what controls you, then cut the strings, cut the need for approval, cut the fear of rejection, cut the addiction to instant gratification, cut the illusions of the crowd, and while you're at it, cut the lie that you have time. Because the clock is moving, and no matter how much you delay, the days won't wait. The world won't pause if opportunities don't hang around forever, they knock once, then pass on to the next door if unanswered. So answer, with force, with fire, with finality, burn the bridge behind you if you must, so the only option is forward. That's what history's greats did. Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon and burned the ships. No retreat. No plan B, victory or death. And guess what? He built an empire. Edison failed thousands of times, but never once lost belief in his purpose. His detachment from failure made him unstoppable. Disney was told he lacked imagination. His detachment from external validation allowed him to build a kingdom of dreams. You're no different, same human blood. Same breath. Same soul, the only variable? Will you choose to lead your mind or be led by it? Because when your mind runs wild, it becomes a prison, but when you train it, discipline it, master it, it becomes your most loyal servant. Focus is the sword, belief is the shield, discipline is the armor, purpose is the war cry, and real wealth is the result of winning that internal battle again. And again, not once, not for a weekend, but every day, until the identity of who you are is obliterated, and what remains is the one who builds, the one who ascends, the one who lives free. So decide, because in this moment, the chains are yours to break, and freedom is yours to claim. And when you rise, not with noise, not with announcement, but with quiet, relentless conviction, the world notices, not because you shouted, not because you begged, but because your results became too loud to ignore. That's the thing about real transformation. It doesn't ask for permission, it doesn't wait for applause, it doesn't even need recognition, it just becomes undeniable. Because the moment you detach from everything that controls you, you become a force, not just a person. A presence. You walk into rooms differently, you speak differently, you operate with a clarity that cuts through the fog of distraction like a blade through silk, and the world, the same world that once ignored you, mocked you, doubted you, now leans in, now wants to know your secret, now calls you lucky, but not knowing you bled for this, not knowing you sacrificed for this, not knowing you burned for this, because they saw the success, but they never saw the solitude, they saw the spotlight, but they never saw the shadow you had to walk through to earn it. That's why you must keep going. Because what's on the other side of discipline is not just wealth. It's not just freedom, it's not just legacy, it's peace, and peace. Peace is priceless. You'll wake up without the weight, you'll walk without the mask, you'll move through life unattached to the noise, but deeply committed to your mission. That's the paradox. Detachment isn't disinterest, detachment is power. It means you care more about your mission than your comfort, more about your standards than your feelings, more about long-term vision than short-term dopamine. You become dangerous in the best way, dangerous to mediocrity, dangerous to limitation, dangerous to every excuse that once ran your life like a tyrant behind the curtain. Now, you run the show, because you finally realized that the formula has always been simple, but never easy. Clarity, belief, action, resilience equals freedom. That's it. Write it on your wall, etch it into your bones. Live it so fiercely that even your failures look like forward momentum, and the day will come, not someday, not maybe, but absolutely, when you will look back on the version of you that used to hesitate, used to seek validation, used to live as a fraction of your full capacity, and you'll say, thank you for breaking. Thank you for suffering, thank you for cracking wide open, because through that pain, I found my power. And you will walk forward, not with arrogance, but with certainty, because you'll know, in your bones, that you are no longer a servant to fear, doubt, or noise. You are a servant to greatness, and that is the highest calling any human can answer, to wake up every single day, and live fully aligned with what you were born to build. So go build it. The chains are gone, the path is yours, and the clock is still ticking. Now move. Because there's no more time for delay, no more tolerance for mediocrity masquerading as realism. No more bowing at the altar of fear, or dancing around your potential with half-hearted intentions. You were not born to exist, you were born to expand, to stretch the edges of possibility, to rip the veil off your limitations, and to do it with fire in your eyes and conviction in your breath. Everything changes the moment you decide to no longer live by default, but by design, not the design handed to you. Not the blueprint society expects of you, your design, the one that keeps you awake at night, the one that whispers louder every time you ignore it, the one that hurts when you don't honor it. Because deep down, your soul knows exactly who you could be if you'd only stopped shrinking. So stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop delaying to feel ready. Stop asking for permission to become something greater than you've ever been, because here's the truth, no one's going to save you, not a mentor, not a podcast, not a course, you are the author, you are the architect, you are the only one who can flip the switch inside your own mind and choose to live as the version of you that doesn't negotiate with fear. And when you do, when you truly do, the universe moves, not because it owes you, but because it responds to those who move first. You initiate, it reciprocates. You commit, it creates opportunity. You sacrifice, it returns value tenfold. But never the other way around. Don't ask for clarity before action, act, and clarity will rise. Don't wait for belief before starting, start, and belief will grow through evidence. Don't wait to feel confident. Confidence is not a prerequisite, it's a byproduct. You build it brick by brick, with every small victory, every disciplined choice, every time you show up when it would have been easier to quit. That's where power lives, not in the loud moments, but in the silent ones, when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when it's just you and the decision, forward or fold. Choose forward, every time, even if it's just 1 inch, even if your hands are shaking, even if your voice trembles when you say, I'm not going back. Because once you've tasted progress, real progress, the kind you build with sweat, grit, and unshakable purpose, going back becomes unbearable. Comfort becomes a cage, distraction becomes poison, and average becomes an insult to your potential. So stay awake, stay sharp, stay relentlessly focused, not out of fear, not out of pressure, but because your future depends on your present discipline. The seeds you plant today will grow. That is not a question. The only question is, what kind of harvest are you willing to suffer for now, so you can rejoice in later? Because make no mistake, suffering is part of the equation. You will suffer either way. You will suffer the pain of discipline, or the pain of regret, the pain of showing up, or the pain of looking back. The pain of stretching your limits, or the pain of knowing you never even tried. But one pain builds you, the other breaks you. Choose wisely. And when the world tries to seduce you back into sleep, when the noise grows louder, when the critics rise up, when distractions claw at your focus like wolves circling prey, you hold the line. Because now you understand something most people never will. Power is not loud, power is not flashy, power is presence. The presence of a man or woman who is unmoved by chaos, who does not chase every sparkly thing, who does not abandon their path just because someone else found a shortcut. No. You move like a mountain, calm, immovable, unwavering. You speak with silence, because your actions are thunder. You live by a different code now, not one written by culture, or trends, or approval, but one written in the marrow of your bones. And that code says, I will not waste this life, not one breath, not one morning, not one moment of doubt will go unanswered by action, because you're done being controlled by anything external, done being ruled by the algorithm, done being swayed by opinions, done chasing the moving target of success they sold you in magazines and social media highlight reels. Real wealth is internal. It's the peace of knowing you're becoming the person you promised yourself you'd be. It's the fire in your chest when your soul and your schedule finally align. It's the discipline to build when it's hard, to lead when it's lonely, to stand when it's unpopular. It's the ability to sit in silence and still feel powerful, because your worth is no longer outsourced. You are not for sale, you are not programmable, you are not a puppet dancing for validation. You're something else now, something rare, a soul that has woken up, a mind that has snapped out of its fog, a spirit that refuses to die with its potential still inside. You've detached from needing to be liked, detached from being understood, detached from the toxic comfort of mediocrity, and in that detachment, you found freedom, the kind of freedom no paycheck, no title, no follower count can give you. Because this isn't about achievement anymore, it's about alignment, with truth, with calling, with courage, and the most courageous thing you'll ever do is live fully, fiercely, and freely as yourself. No masks, no compromise, no apology, because when you stop trying to control everything outside you, and instead master everything within you, that's when life begins to open, truly open, doors you couldn't see before reveal themselves. Ideas flow through you like electricity. People begin to feel your energy before you even speak. You become a force, not because you conquered the world, but because you finally conquered yourself, and now the world must respond, not because it owes you, but because you've become the kind of person it can't ignore. Not because you shouted, but because you became undeniable, because your life is no longer a performance, it is a declaration, a living, breathing statement of what's possible when a human being decides, once and for all, I will not die with my greatness buried inside of me. Understand this, the world is not moved by people who conform, It is moved by those who awaken, who tear off the chains of distraction, fear, comfort, and expectation, and step into the fire with nothing but conviction and purpose. That is who you are now, not someone waiting to be chosen, but someone who chooses themselves. Every single day, you get up and choose discipline, choose vision. Choose service, choose truth, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And that's what separates the average from the extraordinary, not talent, not luck, not resources, but the willingness to face yourself, to do the deep work, to strip away the noise and build from the core. That's what Napoleon Hill meant when he said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But he didn't mean wishful thinking. He meant belief backed by decision, decision forged into obsession, obsession channeled into relentless focus and daily execution. That's the formula. Success is not magic, it's a process, it's physics, it's cause and effect. And when you finally stop chasing shiny distractions, when you detach from what's trending and tap into what's timeless, you activate a force more powerful than fear, failure, or resistance. You activate you, the real you, the one who was always there waiting beneath the layers of doubt and noise and compromise. And now that you've remembered who you are, now that you've tasted that clarity, now that you've seen what's possible, there's no going back. The old life, the one built on seeking approval, chasing comfort, and playing small, it's dead. You buried it. And in its place, you're building something real, something bold, something that lasts, something that will outlive you. Because you're not just here to succeed, you're here to build a legacy, and that legacy begins the moment you realize you already have everything you need. The question is, will you use it? Will you rise? Will you build? Will you become the person your future demands? The world doesn't need more followers, it needs leaders. People of fire, people of clarity. People of vision, people like you. You are the spark, you are the storm, you are the signal fire for a new way of living. So light the flame, hold your ground, and never again let anything control you that was never worthy of your power. This is your time, this is your path, this is your life. Detach, decide, and dominate. You've crossed the threshold, not just in thought but in being, and now the world must meet the real you, the version forged not in comfort, but in clarity, not in ease, but in endurance, not in noise, but in silent, focused, unwavering discipline. That's where the greats are made. Edison didn't stumble upon the light bulb, he built it in the shadows of failure, carving clarity from over 1,000 experiments that didn't work. But he didn't call them failures, he called them steps. Ford didn't wait for permission to revolutionize the automobile, he tore apart the status quo with vision so powerful it forced the world to adapt. And Lincoln, he wasn't molded by applause. He was shaped by rejection, doubt, war, and the crushing weight of expectation, yet in that furnace, he became undeniable. What about you? You're no different. The blood of visionaries runs through your veins, but it only flows when you refuse to be controlled by fear, by weakness, by the comfort that kills more dreams than failure ever could. You want wealth? Then understand this. Wealth is not money, it is not numbers in a bank. It is not the car you drive or the clothes you wear. Wealth is power over your own life. Power to choose, power to create, power to say yes to what matters and no to what doesn't. And that kind of wealth requires a kind of clarity most people will never touch. Because it means you must face yourself. You must look in the mirror and say, I will no longer live at the mercy of distraction. I will no longer sell my destiny for the cheap dopamine of comfort and convenience. You must become a builder of habits, of focus, of a life that reflects your deepest values, not your shallowest fears. And here's the truth most won't tell you. You don't rise by accident, you rise by design, by daily choices, by silent commitments, by rising early, even when you don't feel like it, by studying when others scroll, by investing in your mind, your body, your craft, until your very existence becomes a statement of purpose. You want to lead? Then lead your own life. First, master yourself, not through brute force, but through unshakable standards, the kind that make you immune to mediocrity, because that's what this is about. It's not just about winning. It's about never again letting life happen to you. It's about standing on the mountain of your own discipline and planting a flag that says, I was here. I didn't just survive, I sculpted my life, with vision, with fire, with relentless focus. That is wealth, that is freedom, that is power. And now that you've seen it, now that you feel it in your bones, you can't unsee it. You can't go back, not now, not ever. This is your moment, the turning point where everything aligns or falls apart. Because real success, real wealth, is forged in the crucible of persistence, not in the fleeting sparks of inspiration. It is built on the foundation of habits, daily rituals, and the unrelenting refusal to settle. Look back for a moment at the giants who shaped the world. Andrew Carnegie rose from rags to riches, not because luck smiled on him, but because he committed himself to a purpose greater than himself. He believed in the power of definiteness of purpose, a clarity so sharp it cut through doubt and distraction like a knife through fog. This was no accident, it was the result of disciplined thought, relentless action, and an iron will to never be controlled by circumstances. You have that same power, right now, within you, but the question is, will you claim it? Will you shed the shackles of distraction, of fear, of the voices that tell you to wait, to rest, to play it safe? Or will you remain a prisoner of your own comfort? Because comfort is the great deceiver, soft, seductive, but deadly. It wraps around your dreams like a slow poison, dulling your senses, sapping your energy, whispering lies that keep you small and invisible. Detach from it, detach from everything that controls you, your doubts, your fears, your toxic relationships, your limiting beliefs. Create a fortress of solitude around your mind where clarity reigns. And from that fortress, build your empire. Discipline will be your strongest ally, not as punishment, but as a declaration of your freedom to choose your thoughts, your actions, your destiny. And with every step, remember, action is the only language the universe understands. It does not reward wishful thinking or idle dreams. It responds to motion, to momentum, to the energy you put into shaping your reality. So rise early, work hard, study deeply, act decisively, and when the storm comes, as it will, stand firm. Resilience is not a talent, it is a muscle. Train it daily with adversity, with challenges, with every setback that tries to break you, because on the other side of resilience is transformation. The moment you refuse to be controlled by circumstances, the moment you reclaim your power, gratitude will fuel your journey. Not a shallow, polite gratitude, but a fierce, grateful acknowledgement of how far you've come and the opportunities before you. Gratitude sharpens your vision, elevates your mindset, and draws abundance closer. Adaptability will be your secret weapon. The ability to bend without breaking, to pivot when needed, to learn and grow relentlessly. This is what separates the masters from the masses. So keep learning, keep evolving. Let every failure be a lesson, every success a stepping stone, because success is not a destination, it is a formula, a living, breathing system you learn, live, and embody every day. And that formula, it's within your grasp. But only if you detach from what holds you back, focus like a laser, commit like your life depends on it, and act with the power of 1,000 storms. This is your life, your wealth, your power, and it starts with one choice: to detach from everything that controls you, and finally, live free. Continue, ChatGPT said, the moment you decide to break free from what controls you, you open a door to possibilities that were once locked behind walls of doubt, fear, and hesitation. This is the essence of true liberation, the kind that fuels relentless focus and unstoppable action. Imagine the greatest inventors and pioneers in history: Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before he illuminated the world; Henry Ford, who revolutionized industry by refusing to accept limits; Walt Disney, who transformed imagination into a global empire despite countless setbacks. What did they share? It wasn't just talent or luck. It was a mindset, a formula they lived by, that bound them to one unwavering truth: success is not accidental. It is intentional. They detached from the noise of negativity. They ignored the chorus of doubt from the outside world and from within their own minds. Instead, they honed in on one crystal-clear vision. And day by day, hour by hour, they built their dreams with deliberate, focused action. You are no different. This world does not owe you success. It will not hand it to you on a silver platter. You must claim it with courage, with persistence, and with the refusal to be controlled by distractions or fears. You must discipline your mind to filter out the endless barrage of trivial concerns. Discipline yourself to say no to the comfort that lulls you into complacency. Discipline yourself to say yes to the hard work, the sacrifice, and the resilience required to transform your life. Because discipline is not limitation, it is the gateway to freedom. The freedom to design your own future, the freedom to rise above circumstances, the freedom to live on your terms. And this journey, it demands gratitude. Gratitude for every lesson hidden within failure, gratitude for the strength born from struggle, gratitude for the opportunity to grow beyond what you once thought possible. Gratitude is a magnet for abundance. When you embrace it fully, your mind shifts from scarcity to plenty, from lack to limitless possibility. But gratitude alone will not carry you. You must be adaptable. Change is the only constant. The world shifts beneath your feet, markets evolve, technologies disrupt, opportunities arise and fade like the tide. To succeed, you must bend without breaking, pivot without hesitation, and keep learning like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Every failure, every setback, every disappointment is a teacher in disguise. The greatest warriors of success are those who see obstacles not as dead ends, but as the fire that tempers their will and sharpens their resolve. So learn, evolve, grow, make every moment a chance to become more than you were yesterday. Success is not a fleeting moment of glory, it is a lifelong formula to be lived and breathed with relentless focus, and you are capable of mastering it, but you must detach from distractions, from doubts, from fears, and commit fully to your vision. This is the path from average to abundance, the path from limitation to liberation, the path that turns dreams into reality through discipline, action, resilience, and unshakable belief. Your formula for success awaits. Will you learn it? Will you live it? The choice is yours and yours alone.